Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on the Space Couch today I've got some Tesla Motors updates for you. Now, in the wake of the Dieselgate scandal involving VW, Elon Musk has been in Europe on Tesla business and attending conferences, meeting with government leaders. There were some very interesting developments during that trip. Now, first, Tesla's opened a second European factory in Tilburg in the Netherlands. It'll be able to handle assembly of the Model S, the Model X and the Model 3, speeding up deliveries to European customers for those models. Now, this is an assembly plant, not a production one. So the cars are shipped over from California and then reassembled for the European market. Building the second factory, that will help cut down on delivery times once it's fully up and running. Obviously, as I mentioned, there were several conferences that Elon attended for energy, meetings with government officials in Germany and also Denmark and Holland, discussing things like EV emission credits, tax incentives for zero emission cars, all that sort of thing. Now, obviously, Elon was asked about the Volkswagen emissions scandal. And he made the point that we've reached the end of what's possible with petrol and diesel and the internal combustion engine. I mean, it's been around now for over 150 years, but I don't know how much, if anything, there's left for them to squeeze out of it in terms of efficiency, because obviously, as you know, petrol engines are not that efficient. I think only gets about 1/3 of the possible energy versus electric cars, which are about 90%, or something like that. So it's about time we started to transition from that. Well, we have started to transition from that technology, I guess, but we do need to speed it up. I mean, when you've got to cheat on such a vast scale, was it 11 million cars at the moment, and who knows how many other, if any, car manufacturers have also been doing the same sort of thing, then you have come to the end of the road for that technology, even if you don't realise it. I mean, lots of articles, including, say, like the Wall Street Journal and many other business sites, they're saying this is the death of diesel. Could be, certainly for cars, probably not for, say, trucks, lorries, coaches, all that sort of thing, where I think it does make more sense. But for cars, I mean, some markets, I think here in the UK, it's about half the cars are diesels, It's like, wouldn't like to pay the fees in any sort of lawsuit for that one, any class actions going on. It's going to be billions of dollars, and probably even more than VW has set aside, to be honest. Anyway, this is probably going to accelerate the move away from diesel. VW, I mean, they are the ones who've been driving, as it were, this type of technology. So if essentially their own tech doesn't work without cheating, it's game over for that. Whether or not it takes down VW is another matter. Elon was saying, right, obviously this does not work, let's move to EV cars. I mean, obviously that's in his interest, but it's also in the interest of all of us. If you've ever been down Oxford Street in central London on a Saturday afternoon, it is awful with the pollution. It's better than it was, but it's still awful. Anyway, moving away from that, Elon also announced that there's a non-German European car manufacturer that's interested in using the supercharger network. Now, that would be good news. I mean, they'd have to chip in, let's say, the running costs, probably fund construction of some superchargers, as well as making sure that their cars are actually compatible with it. But I mean, it's the lack of the charging infrastructure that has hindered the growth of electric vehicles. Tesla's obviously building out its supercharger network, and that has been a real driver for growth for them. There are EV charging points in a lot of places, certainly here in the UK. There's one at the end of my street that I've never seen anyone charging at it. But yeah, I mean, this would help end the range anxiety if, say, a major company, let's just say, pick one at random, Range Rover, I don't know, decide they're going to have electric cars and use a supercharger network, That would be really good. And hopefully, as I say, it will lay the problem of range anxiety to rest. Certainly, it's public perception that's what is holding it back, you know. Even those of us who know about electric cars know it's not actually the deal that you think it is. Anyway, moving on. There were another couple of interesting points that were touched upon during his trip. Now, first, it's not going to be that long before you can travel over 1,000 kilometres in a Tesla. Not just crawling along at the lowest speeds for the most efficient use of the battery, by the way, because obviously there's been a couple of records set now. One of them was Bjorn Nyland, and one of his friends, they did, I think, was 800 kilometres in an S, and a week or so after that, a guy did a bit more than that in his Model S, although a lot of that was going downhill. Sooner or later, you're going to be able to have 1,000 kilometre range in your car as standard, you know. And with the battery improvements of about 5 to 10% a year, it's kind of like a mini Moore's Law for batteries, you know. Then by 2020, it's very likely that you would have that 1,000 kilometre range. And as I said, that will end range anxiety permanently. Also, autopilot continues to be worked on. Elon reckons fully self-driving cars, couple of years away at the most. From a technology standpoint, you know, regulators will take several years after that to catch up, so perhaps 2020 as they're always behind the curve. Perhaps it will actually become a standard for the Model 3. Could be. Anyway, today is Monday the 28th of September. We are 1 day out from initial deliveries of the Model X. Now, I read an article the other day that said the X is the most important car Tesla will ever build, because without it, there's no Model 3. It's a good point, but I expect the X is going to be at least as good as the Model S. There might be some initial teething problems, you know, but it will get over that quite quickly. There's also actually it's not exactly a new version of the Model X, but you can now order it with 6 seats instead of 7. The middle seat in the second row has been removed, so it's like the outside seats are still there. That will give a lot more legroom for the people in the back, you know, and probably more space for the people who want to have their skis or whatever in there. So yes, very exciting. It'll be the car of the year, I have no doubt. I can't wait to see what it gets on Consumer Reports. Will it get more than 103, I wonder? Will they have to readjust their scales again? It should be quite interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing the handover and the rollout. And that just the whole production, I'm sure it's going to be pretty awesome. Will Elon announce anything else, I wonder, at the hangover? There'll be a lot of hangovers, let me tell you, at the handover. Possibly, but as I said, the X is going to be the star of the show. Let's just hope Elon wears his lucky velvet jacket. Hope you enjoyed all this content, guys. I'm really looking forward to the launch of the Model X tomorrow. It's very exciting. Please subscribe to my channel if you did enjoy this content. Leave me a comment or a suggestion for an upcoming topic you'd like to see discussed, or leave me your thoughts on the Model X.